Welcome to my 90-day SAT prep series. Today is day 82 of 90. Today is designed to be a review day for your SAT practice test 10 that you took yesterday. So hopefully you did well on that practice test yesterday. Like I said, it's your last practice test before the SAT if you scheduled your SAT for the 91st day, since this is a 90-day SAT prep series. So hopefully you did well on it. Hopefully you were able to use the tips, tricks, advice, strategies, things like that I presented you. Hopefully your pacing was good. Hopefully you were able to answer all your questions. Now today, obviously you want to review that practice test. I've got a video that I made during this SAT prep series right around day 14 or 15 that talks about how to review your practice test to get the most out of it and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes twice. So I'm going to play that video. Any reference I make in that video to SAT practice test 5, just understand it's applicable to SAT practice test 10, right? Just replace the 5 with a 10 and everything will be fine. Okay, I only made that one. It only says SAT practice test 5 because that's when I made it. It was for the first practice test you took, but it's applicable to any practice test. So with that, I'm going to start playing that. Make sure you do review your practice test because it's very, very important in order to advance and become better at taking the SAT. So that video is going to start playing now. We're going to go over how you can get the most out of that practice test that you took. So the first thing that you're going to do is you are going to score your practice test using the College Board's app. Okay, so if you wrote your answers down on the bubble sheet like you were supposed to, then you can take a picture with College Board's app of your pages from your bubble sheet, and it will automatically score it based on the practice test that you input. So you'll take your pictures, you'll enter in that you took practice test 5, and it will score it for you. So that's very easy. It makes it so you don't have to manually score it. It just does it automatically by taking that picture. So that's step 1. So step 2 is going to be for each section you're going to do the following, right? So the following 3 through 8 you're going to do for each section individually. So you're going to have one for the reading section, one for the writing and language section, one for the math no calculator section, and one for the math with calculator section. So for each section, you're going to go over every question that you got wrong or were unsure of, right? So if there was a question that you got right, but you had to guess, then you're going to want to basically do steps 4 through 8 for that as well. So any question that you got wrong or you were unsure of, you're going to go over. So what does that mean? What does it mean to go over each question? Well, if you got a question wrong, what you're going to do first is before you look at the correct answer or the correct answer explanation, what you're going to do is you're going to see you got it wrong, because I believe that it puts a little X by that question for you instead of just giving you the right answer. So if you see you have an X, so you got one wrong, what you're going to do is you're going to try to figure out on your own what that correct answer was and why that correct answer is correct. So why do we do this? Well, we do this because if we know we got a question wrong and then we go back and we try to figure out on our own what the correct answer was and why, we're more likely to remember how to get there, right? Because we got there already on our own without help. So by doing this, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up remembering more and improving more, because we're going to remember how we can get to the right answer on something we previously were getting wrong. So it's really going to help you build that muscle memory in your brain, and the brain is a muscle, of really understanding how you can get to that correct answer, right? So that's really the big thing there, is that it's going to help you remember a lot more. So if you see you got a question wrong, then before you look at the answer, try to figure out on your own what the correct answer was and why. So after that, then you're going to check it with the answer explanations. So for answer explanations, you can find them on our YouTube channel. So we have videos on SAT practice test 5 was the one that you should have taken yesterday. We have a math with calculator section video for SAT practice test 5. I do it in, I think, under 35 minutes. So I'm moving pretty quick, but I still explain why the correct answers are correct and how to get there. So you can use that one for the math with calculator. I have a slowed down version, an in-depth version of the math no calculator version for SAT practice test 5. I have a video for the SAT reading section of SAT practice 5 that gives answer explanations, and I have a video for practice test 5, the writing and language section as well. So you can use those, or if you want, you can use the College Board's answer explanations. They also have, you can just look up SAT practice test 5 answer explanations, and there'll be a PDF that'll pop up that you can download and use. So either way, whichever one you want to use for answer explanations is fine with me. If you want to use our videos, you can use those. If you want to use the PDF document that the College Board gives, you can use that one as well. So your pick there. But first, you're going to come up with your own way of getting the correct answer and why. Then after that, you're going to check it with answer explanations. So after that, what are we going to do? Well, after that, you're going to take your workbook and you're going to write SAT practice test. And for example, in this case, it's number 5. You're going to write first the question that you got wrong. Second, what the answer that you chose was, so what the wrong answer was. Then after that, you're going to write down what the correct answer was. So at that point, you'd have the question, your wrong answer, and then the correct answer. Then you're going to write why your answer was wrong. And then you're going to write, then you're going to write why you got the answer wrong. So why is your answer wrong? These two are basically the same. Why you got your answer choice wrong, and why your answer is wrong. So how'd you get to the wrong answer? Then after that, you're going to write why the correct answer is correct. And then finally, and this is really the most important part, how you're going to approach the question next time to get to the correct answer, right? This is really what we want to be focusing in on. So we're going to do these steps prior because it helps us with these steps. So we want to understand the question, why our wrong answer choice was wrong, why the correct answer choice is correct, and then how we're going to approach the question next time to get to the correct answer. So you're going to do that for every question that you got wrong on each section. Then for each section, look for patterns in the questions that you got wrong and that you got right. So what areas were you weak in? This is important. We want to identify our weak areas and focus on those. What areas were you strong in? We don't really want to spend as much time in areas we're strong because we're not going to get as many points by studying for that because we're already getting most of the points there. So you're going to write the areas that you're weak and the areas that you're strong in your notebook or in I said in day one, you could have a journal if you want, but if you don't have that, because I haven't really been directing you to use it, then you can just put it in your notebook. Either one's fine. So that's really what you're going to want to do for step 6 is just looking for patterns where you're right, where you're wrong, where you're strong, and where you're weak. So after that, you're going to go into how your pacing was. So for each section, once again, writing in your notebook or your journal, just write how your pacing was. So was your pacing really good on a certain section or really bad on a certain section? Was your pacing really strong in the beginning but really bad in the end? Did you start off too slow, end too fast? You want to make sure that you write down how your pacing was, right? And that's going to help you to write down how you pace better next time. So you're going to write how your pacing was during that practice test yesterday, and then how you're going to pace better next time. So what are you going to do differently next time to improve your pacing? Next thing you're going to want to do is go over which questions took you too long. So if a question took you really long but you still got it correct, then I would suggest going to the answer explanations videos that I made and looking to see if there's a trick you can use to get to the answer quicker, because there might be. It's possible that there isn't a way to get to the answer quicker, but it's also possible that there is. So if any questions took you a really long time, then I would recommend looking at our answer explanation videos for that question. All right, so the final thing you're going to do for each section is going to be your overall thoughts on your performance. So do you think that you did really good, really bad, and then where do you think you can improve? What do you want to do differently next time? So you're going to want to say really 3 things. So I'm actually going to add these down here. Right, you're going to want to say positives, so what you did good. You're going to want to say negatives, what you did bad, and then you're going to want to say what you're going to do next time. So what you're going to do to improve, and then what you're going to do different strategy-wise. Right, so what are you going to do to improve your chances at scoring higher next time, and what are you going to change strategy-wise next time? So those two are kind of the same there. So that's really going to be what you're going to do for each section. So that's the writing section, the reading section, math no calculator, and math with calculator. So that really covers how I want you to review your practice tests, and I'm really just going to give you the rest of the time today to review your practice test, figure out what you got wrong and why, and how you're going to do better next time. So once again, thanks for watching. There will be a donation link in the description when it's up and running. Any private SAT tutoring that I'm doing that is separate from this free series will be linked in the description. Any private essay and admissions consulting I'll be doing will be linked in the description. And make sure to like, subscribe, share, and stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. So thank you and have a good day.